And we're live. Yeah, see the unpopulated in there.
Yeah. With 9 thumbs up already.
What's
Thanks,
going
y'all.
on, everybody? So, for those of you that didn't come over from the other channel and who may be finding this for the first time, my name is Dylan,
My name is Leslie.
and that's it.
Dylan and Leslie.
That's it. So, for those of you that are not familiar, who may have just stumbled upon us for the first time, and maybe for those of some of you that follow our other channel, Dylan Talks Tone, and don't know, we live in a motorhome full time and drive around the United States, and we still work and use the internet and make YouTube videos and guitar stuff. We are very busy. So, yeah. And I think what's happened is a lot of people have asked us a lot of questions from our other channel. And instead of talking about full-time RVing and travel vlogs and all that kind of stuff and trying to put that into our guitar channel, this is just easier. We used to have, and that's what I want to mention real quick, because that's what's in the thumbnail, is that we're back, but it's different.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that part?
Are you going to talk about the old name? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you followed us before or have been following us for years now, this channel was previously branded Music and Mascara. That is still a name that we love very much. Business entities may exist under that name. But for what we're sharing, it just didn't fit anymore. And we wanted to be able to expand. And instead of coming up with another name that put us in a box, we are really random. And I think we have decided to embrace that. So it's just us. It's Dylan and Leslie. And it will probably be any one of our interests. It could be travel, it could be RV, it could be road tripping, it could be off-roading, it could be vehicles, it could be cameras, it could be life, it could be vegan. What else? What comes to your
Those are
mind?
a lot of things. I think the one thing that you will see through all of our content is that we just go do stuff. Like, and I hope that it inspires other people to just go do stuff. I mean, we live in a motorhome, and like this was a whole process to get here, but that doesn't mean that. I mean, yesterday, what did we do? We just drove and walked around some park in some town. Like
And it was so cool.
And it was amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
It was take your cell phone camera and go in the woods and we were in town. Like it was in a town, but it was just like go adventure a little. And I think you're going to see that a lot in our channel because that's what we do. We literally just randomly adventure. And some of them,
That's the key here. That'll be the common theme. Random.
some of them are bigger adventures and some of them, but most of them actually kind of aren't.
Right.
I mean, most of them are just little small things that we go and do. Random things.
And you'll find, so if you look back through the older videos, we talked a lot about a lot of stuff. And I don't think that will not still happen. There will still be times where we'll have to review something or share something technical. And that can still happen, but that is not the majority of what we do, which is why
somebody said it was buffering.
Hard to continue.
Oh, to put ourselves in a box with a particular kind of content, you mean? Yeah, for sure.
So Bryant Wiley, right off the bat, he's like, what happened to the video you were going to make about the drone following the RC? I don't even remember when we talked about that.
Yeah, so my RC habits have changed. I sold one and I have one, but it's not the kind that will really work with that. So I'm tossing around buying another one that will fit that better, but I just haven't really done it. We've been focused so much on other things um, that I haven't spent any money on play stuff other than camera stuff for quite a while.
Yeah. And so we're also, this gives us an opportunity to maybe streamline. Even I didn't think about the RC stuff before, but we had all of these little other things going, which then like puts me in overload and I don't want to do anything. Like started designing t-shirts, that became its own little monster to keep up with, and I just decided, no, I don't want to go that way. Like if I make something cool, I'll just share it under this umbrella because it just makes sense. And then it gives us a place to share pictures. We're still using I have a personal Instagram still. You basically have two business ones now, right?
Well, I have the Dylan and Leslie Instagram that I've been putting all of our travel stuff on, and I've been
But your main Instagram is business,
his
right?
Dylan Talks Tone,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I still have a personal one. So a lot of my pictures go there, but then I'm just trying to share more on the Dylan and Leslie also. So I think it also, yeah, if you do something RC related, I'm sure you'll put it on this channel.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
again, so Streamline, there's either the guitar stuff happening or life.
Everything else, yep. Yeah, and there was a point where we were like, we're really going to grow this channel, and we want everybody to subscribe, and I still do, and I want to grow it, but it's going to be way more fun. Like I think partially too, I'm super stoked about being inspired to do different wacky stuff. Um, I really think it's going to make my other YouTube videos better too.
And we have a hobby together now. Speaking of photography.
Yeah, so and that's another thing that has kind of evolved since last time. So I've always been a camera nut because of the YouTube channel, because of my other YouTube channel.
I'm not.
She's not. She's like, if I can't do it with my phone, I don't care. Like, until she discovered a macro lens.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she shoots almost pretty much all the time with that 100mm macro.
Mm-hmm. Manual.
Totally manual lens.
So I think there were some things when something gets too technical and too complicated, then it's not fun anymore. So I think this was a good balance for me. The technology is there for it to still be really good so that it makes his approval, but it's really fun so that I enjoy it. And also, we got a huge zoom lens because what I think should happen in my head and what the capabilities we had at the time were just did not make sense, and I was out. But the new zoom lens is awesome, so I like
it. And don't let her. She's shooting a manual lens, but it's on a Canon R6 body, so it's not like it's an awesome camera. It's a great rig. It's a great rig. So that's the other thing. We switched to Canon because we were shooting Sony for a long time, and switching back to Canon has been an expensive proposition, but it has been 100% worth it, and I'm super stoked. I'm very excited. I pre-ordered my 16mm prime this week, so the lens that you're seeing me on right now is a 24mm. That camera right now is like 4 feet from us to get us in this shot. A 16 will be right up here, so it'll be much more personal. And so
he can handhold.
I can handhold it with that lens right there. If you've seen any of my vlogs lately, I have to like hold it way out at the end of my arm to get a decent shot. So I'm excited to get a 16mm. It's a prime. It's not a zoom, but we have we have more prime lenses than we have zooms now. Well, we will.
2.
We have 2, but we'll have 3 more. We'll have another one.
We have 2 now.
Mm-hmm. The 100mm and because the 100mm is a prime.
And then what's the other one?
I have a 50.
Oh, 50. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man. Do you want to talk about where we're going? That way, people can know if they are close enough to us.
Okay.
Over the next, well, at least that way you can reach out if you want to meet up. especially some of you dudes from the
Yeah.
guitar channel.
So let's just keep it. Oh, my notes on my phone are not updating. Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, let's
Just
keep it
kidding.
kind of general.
We're going to keep it general. If you hear something that is close to you, reach out to us personally to talk about dates and
Yes.
okay. So Cleveland, Ohio.
Which is where we are now. We're in the suburbs of Cleveland. By the way, I love it here.
Yeah, that was unexpected, by the way.
Everybody's like, "Why are you going to Cleveland?" Yeah, I'm going to Cleveland. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I love it here.
We
Now,
had the best food.
we
It's
are
beautiful.
staying outside like the belt line. So we are not in Cleveland. We are like 20 minutes, 30 minutes south. We're actually like probably halfway between Cleveland and Akron actually. But I spent the day like today driving around and all these little towns, man, they're so cool. The only downside to this part of Ohio is that if it says 30 miles, it's an hour drive because everywhere is 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yeah.
Because you're
It's
going
like
through
double.
yeah,
Oh, it's only 10 miles away.
oh,
20
it's
minutes.
25 minutes. Because you're going through all these little towns and bajillions of school zones in the middle of the week.
Oh, I haven't been out during the day.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. And then you're behind a garbage truck and you're behind, during work
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So it was a little ridiculous, but I love it here. And maybe it's the time of the year. I don't know, but I'm not moving here or nothing, but I do like it a lot. Anyway, where are we going next?
What about Reverend?
I'm trying. I talked to them a couple days ago. My buddy that's there, and we're trying for tomorrow, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's not me. It's theirs. It's their. They're crazy. They're busy right now, and so um, I reached out to them. It's time. I don't know if the timing's gonna work. So let's see, because that'll be tomorrow.
So, if you're on the last live stream, we announced so the next place will be close to, and we're gonna have a meetup. So, I think we can invite this audience too, since it does cross over. But and it's still us. I'm gonna be there. I don't care if it's Dylan Talks to Home people, and if you're coming, feel free to bring your wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That too.
So, Cambridge, Ohio. So let us know if you're close to there.
Mm-hmm.
Then along the route, we will be in Sutton, West Virginia. Then we will be in Fancy Gap, North Carolina. Y'all, this is news to him too, by the way.
Fancy Gap. I mean, I knew, but I forgot some of the town names.
Then we will be in Mocksville, North Carolina. Then we will be in Waves, North Carolina.
That's on the beach.
Then we will be in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And then we will be in Augusta, Georgia.
Yep.
And that's all the plans I have. But that takes us through to 2022.
Yeah. So, trying to plan out to the end of the year. Well, we have planned out to the end of the year now, till the beginning of January. So that's pretty cool.
So Bryant says it's great until you get 18 inches of snow at once. Last time I was there, it was piles of snow, 12 foot high. Oh, we have a thumbs down person here. Thanks for joining us. We did look it up because snow is a big concern of mine, and it said they get 54 inches a year here, so that doesn't sound like 12 feet, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah. I'm from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan originally, and we actually used to get 12 feet of snow in a year. It was ridiculous.
Somebody said visit Casino Guitars. It's definitely on the list.
It's on the list.
We
I already
like
talked
them
to
a lot.
Jonathan and Baxter. Baxter actually emailed me too. So that is definitely on the list. We have already chatted.
A bug just touched my nose.
I saw it. I saw it.
All right, so that is the rundown. We don't normally do that. I was surprised when he asked me to do that. So there's that generic list
Well,
of places that we will be, and you could tell we are making our southern route, trying to beat the cold and
before it
see
gets
no
cold.
snow. That's the goal.
No snow. No snow at all. So, as you continue to, because I think we are going to keep doing these live streams after the other live stream. Um, as people continue to start to know who we are and what we're doing, feel free to put comments about travel and RVing, and even if you're curious in the comments, that's the kind of thing that we want to build over here.
Yep.
Is just a, hey, what are you doing? And we will tell you as best we can the trips that we've latest done during this live streams, and I'm going to try to do some video stuff about them. So, for example, Monday, we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I got a new hat, y'all.
She got a new hat. And I got a new hat too. And it was awesome. It was very, very moving. Like, all of the displays and the current one, like, because some of them rotate, you know, it was really cool. So we shot a bunch of content about that. I'm going to try to work on that video tomorrow. It's probably going to get pushed until Monday though, because I have 2 Dylan Talk Tone video to do tomorrow. So, but yeah, so we're going to try to shoot content about destinations.
No, Frank, this isn't our merch. This is something I picked up at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Little
Yes.
throwback to younger days.
Yes. Like when they were invented.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, because so I was telling you my experience with Parental Advisory. One of my earliest experiences with Parental Advisory labels was the Pearl Jam 10 record, because that's about the time they started doing it.
So did they not do it before that?
No.
Did they not do it on cassettes?
They did it on cassettes too, yeah.
Yeah.
But it
I mean, my very first thing
was
had
2
a
Live Crew.
No, I
No?
didn't own that. It was Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would have been before that.
That was my first
I don't remember. I don't know what the
cassette,
first.
but I'm pretty sure it had a parental advisory on it.
I don't know what the first Parental Advisory was.
Anyway, my mom was cool and I could still get them. I don't know that I recommend that approach, but I was good with it. I did the same with my kids and they turned out okay.
The first record was the 1990 release of Band in the USA. 2 Live Crew.
Oh, is that what prompted it?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
They may have gone
Is
backward.
that clip in our video or you don't know yet? You haven't edited it.
It will be. Yeah.
So if you want to hear about that, you have to watch the video.
Yeah. We definitely went down some memory lanes with that whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. It was pretty intense. Like, there was a couple of times where I had to, like, leave the room because of people that were, I mean, they had Dusty Hill's hat just sitting there. And you're just like, this is too soon, man. This is too soon. They had, and the Prince display got to me pretty hardcore. I was telling her it surprised me, I guess, and I made me realize like how like emotionally attached to a lot of music I am. It was really. You said you were okay until Chris Cornell, huh?
Yeah. It's still, that is the one for me. Still, I cannot listen to anything. If his voice comes on, my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. I don't get like that with anybody, really. But being in the presence of their stuff. Like coming around the corner and being like, that is the guitar that so and so played. It was a bit intense, for sure. Yeah, it was a bit intense, definitely. It was fun though.
Jason Albert said his first one was 2 Live Crew. Mr. Goat said Public Enemy, NWA, Ice Cube. They all had parental advisories.
Yeah, they had an NWA display there. Actually, they had Eazy-E's jacket, which was awesome. They had a whole hip hop section.
Tupac's handwriting with lyrics, y'all. I took a picture of it.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
I really like seeing people's handwriting. Should be like a handwriting analysis. Anyway.
I'll tell you what else. So there's a few major things about music that I really had some kind of aha moments because people get all super bent when like Jay-Z was going to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and like all these rappers and everything. And I was like, and I'm like, I disagree with people you can get bent about whatever you want. I don't care. But I'm like, I'm not upset about it. But I also was like, it is kind of weird though, but not anymore. Like once I got there and saw how it was all presented and it was like, this is the history. Like music started.
Well, if you want to be super technical, they stole it in the first place. So
Yes.
rock and roll wouldn't exist
Yeah.
without those musicians.
Yeah. So rock and roll basically stole all their songs from early slave music, basically.
Yeah.
And blues and jazz.
Yeah.
And what would become hip hop. And then hip hop was an evolution from that. Like it makes sense in the flow when you start to see, there is no musical genre really, except for you could say the jazz and the early like slave anthems
which stemmed from gospel.
That stemmed from gospel. So I guess they weren't their own thing. There is no genre of music that started it might started a new branch, but it always came from something else. And that evolution, when you got to like walk down a wall and visually see that evolution, it was like, okay, now I totally understand why there is a Mick Jagger display here, and then 10 feet down the wall is Tupac, Eazy-E, and Public Enemy. And you're like, it makes total sense now because and throw Tom Morello in there and then and you're like you see this evolution and it's a journey. It's not like here's this new style of music and it doesn't belong here. It's like, okay, I get the flow of this.
And then understanding who these people were inspired by doesn't necessarily equate to what you know them for either.
Right.
But they were inspired by something that kind of shocks you at times.
I'm going to spend a bunch of time on this, but like when we were talking yesterday and you did a bunch of research on Machine Gun Kelly's journey. Everybody's all been about Machine Gun Kelly right now, but his musical journey, it makes sense, and it makes sense where he came from and what his influences were and how he came up, and like it. Once you do that research and understand it, it makes total sense, and it makes me like not dislike a certain type of music because you see the connections between it all.
Right.
It was really, really cool. And then the other thing, and not to get all into gear stuff because that's the other channel, but this is probably way too controversial for the other channel. All of that good music was written on the crappiest instruments. Like when you look at the guitars that were used and the gear that was used for all this early music, you realize how short music history is. So from like the earliest recordings till now is not that long in a grand scheme of things. And the early music was recorded on terrible guitars, like terrible guitars, terrible amps. Everything was terrible. We have it so good now. And I think people are idealized. What happens is people get a connection to the music, which makes them connected to the instrument and then elevate the instrument because they're connected to the music. But when you really break it down to brass tacks, they were just guitars. Like there's nothing special about anything. It was just all a bunch of guitars, like, beat up stuff, yard sale stuff. It was just very interesting. Like I don't know, I gained a much broader perspective. It was really fun. I really, really enjoyed it a lot. I would go back again. There were some people in some of our social media comments that were like, I went and then I went again and it was boring. And I'm like, I don't know that I could go too many times because I think I would learn something every time because you can't see it all. Like you can walk by it all, but you can't like appreciate it all unless you spend hours.
But we could
and
go
hours.
again because we're members now.
Mm-hmm.
Doug said he'll visit the Hall of Fame when they induct Kansas. So one thing that they have there,
Yeah.
Doug, that was really cool is so you go and you get like a wristband, which has apparently it has barcode on it. I didn't even realize that. But they have displays to where you can then vote. So you can scan your wristband, enter your name and email, and you can nominate. And then it will tell you how many votes if it's been nominated before or if you're the first one to nominate. So I think they do that online too, but it's just really cool to see that they want you to be interactive because as you're walking through, and we talked about it, we didn't realize while we were there, we're listening, there's music playing the whole time, and you're talking about the music you're hearing, and then you realize, hey, there's not a display for this. There's not a display for this.
Yeah.
And so it's always an evolution. Not everybody who's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has a display there. Just full disclosure. I never really thought about it like that. I mean, their name's on the wall. There is an actual Hall of Fame with everybody's signature of the year they were inducted. But it was, I love if you were on the other channel, like Metallica. They're in the
Yes.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There was nothing there for
There
them.
was no
but there was some
Metallica
music
anything.
playing.
Yeah. It was weird. There was a few other people too that I was like, there's no.
So Sean McMillan asked, were they playing highlights of different Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies? They did have a lot of videos playing various moments in time. There was lots of interactive, like there was like a whole one hit wonder section that was kind of cool.
They had a theater going with
that was hard too.
With a bunch of American Bandstand clips.
Yeah.
I had to leave.
Yeah.
It was just.
So there were two other voices that really get to me, and it hit me then. Dick Clark and Casey Kasem, like those are legendary. And every time I have chills now just trying to tell you that. And somebody asked, so Chris Cornell because he died. Chris Cornell because he was one of my favorites. I like unique voices anyway. And yes, absolutely, because he died. We had just seen him in a very intimate acoustic set that was really remarkable to me, and then he was gone. So I was very thankful I got to have that time, but it was also literally heartbreaking.
Yeah. There are not. The other thing too was I just think some of the people that you don't realize the amount of impact that they had on not just music but on culture in general. Mm-hmm. Like, the whole Kurt Cobain display. And it was like I walked around the corner and I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, because they had his Jag staying there and they had.
And that one's different for me. I'm a huge Nirvana fan, but I was much younger. So it wasn't quite. I mean, not that Soundgarden.
See, and I wasn't.
And Temple of the Dog and all that stuff isn't older than me, but when my interest peaked in it, I think is the key there.
I wasn't overly connected to the Kurt Cobain thing specifically, but just thinking about the impact that time period and that record had on. And then the other night I just watched what's it called? The Making of David Geffen. And it's David Geffen's whole life story. And of course he Nirvana Nevermind was a Geffen record. That was like the one that made Geffen records big. And just thinking about the history of all of it and just stringing it all together. That whole thing to me,
including handwritten lyrics.
We have been there. Yep. We have been there.
Is that in Macon?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been there. And it was really cool. And we're not even really huge Allman Brothers fans, but it is history. It is cool. It's cool.
There is a video of that on this channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I shot video.
I don't remember.
There is a video of that on this channel.
All right.
Yep.
So we have been there. So then, are you finished talking about music?
That's it. I'm
Okay.
good.
So let's switch gears. Doc asked, how do you find the availability of veggie and vegan options on your travels? Some states better than others? Absolutely. For the most part, we cook and eat at home.
Yep.
Grocery items are fairly easy to find now. I think it is. I mean, we do shop at bigger stores. We don't shop at like the local small grocery store. We shop at bigger chain stores because of that need.
Not Walmart.
Walmart always has a good selection too, so you can't say that.
I mean, it's not our first choice though. We discovered Meijer this time.
Yeah.
Being in the Midwest, and it is amazing.
It's been really good.
Fantastic selection of stuff.
So grocery shopping is not hard. We will go some places. I always look, see what kind of restaurants are in the area. A lot of times there's nothing, of course.
We found a great place in Cleveland.
This place in Cleveland might be one of my favorites. We've already been twice.
There was
so good.
There was a place in
Baraboo.
I was gonna say Bugaboo, and I knew that wasn't it.
Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Baraboo, Wisconsin, in the middle of Dairy State.
In the middle of a baby town. It was
tiny town.
Yeah.
Like one stoplight town. And it was probably some of the best vegan food I've ever had. So yeah, for restaurants we just look. And I think, like Leslie's a whatever super duper member of what's it called? The rating place. The review place.
I'm an elite person on Yelp if you want to see any of my restaurant reviews.
So we do take photos of our food and all that stuff for Yelp. And
that's my excuse to go.
We will try to find good plant-based restaurants. I would say if we stay 4 different cities in a month, 2 of those cities will have something really good usually.
Yeah.
And it just depends where we are, because the South is actually kind of harder. Mm-hmm. Although Tennessee's good. Chattanooga is awesome. Nashville is awesome.
A lot of the bigger places will
Atlanta
have
is
something.
Awesome. Yeah.
But not if they're catering. It's weird. So we're in Wisconsin, I feel like they're catering to tourism.
So cheese, curd, cheese. Everything.
Yeah. So it just depends on who the audience is. I mean, usually you can look up, and when you search through the restaurants, you're like, oh yeah, this isn't going to work. But I was pleasantly surprised at the number of options here. Anyway, but we found ourselves at the same place twice because it was that good.
Yeah, for sure.
So Doug said he wants to reduce his animal products, and it's not easy. Doug, I was thinking about y'all the other day. I actually saw where your wife posted she had some kind of chickpea burger or something. I was like, that sounds delicious. So yeah, it's not, if you really enjoy animal products, I think it's hard. Our drive for that was a little bit different, because we feel better, and I just tell people I eat selfishly, so it makes it easier.
Yeah, and I'm not hell bent on replacing everything. So a lot of people who are trying to do what you're doing will focus on getting the best fake hamburger, getting the best fake chicken, getting the best to replace it. And I didn't do that. I've never really done that. And I do it now sometimes. We have Beyond Burgers in the fridge that I had one for dinner, but I don't do it very often. It's once a week maybe. That I'm using some sort of replacement meat. And I think getting out of so what I would tell you is, people will say, if I'm trying to eat plant-based, what is there left to eat? And your brain if you flip it around and just be like, I eat everything except for meat and dairy.
Yeah.
It's a weird mental flip to make, but you realize how much food is out there other than chicken, pork, fish, and milk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and beef.
And you also realize how much they throw it in food when it doesn't need to be there.
They put milk in everything for no reason
Milk
whatsoever.
and cheese.
Yeah. So.
Doc said, I'm a hunter, so that makes it really hard, but I'm trying. And I mean, I don't know what your drive is to reduce animal products, but I think hunting is its own thing, and
Yeah.
that is usually really lean and healthy.
Yep.
So
we should say we are not like all your weirdo advocate people that are going to tell you how to eat when you have dinner. We don't do that. Like we did it because it makes. I did it. I'll just say I did it because it makes me feel better. That's the only reason. And so it's not some kind of like crazy cause that I'm trying to get everybody else to eat plant based. Like I'm not. So don't take it like that at all. Like I think it is cool that you're a hunter and that you are controlling the quality of your food. I think if you hunt, you definitely have more control over the quality of your food. And I would say that is the thing that has taught me the most. That's what I've learned the most about being plant-based is understanding what is in your food. Like if you just start reading ingredients, don't even worry about what you're eating, like meat and all that. Like just start reading the ingredients of your food and like Googling what your ingredients of your food is. And your brain you'll be like, oh, I don't want to put that in my body. And you'll be like, oh, and you'll find a different way. Like to me, that's more powerful than getting on some kind of crazy cause of diet of this is what I need to do. Like just start reading ingredients and you'll be like, what was it the other day that we were reading? Slim Jims.
surprisingly decent ingredients, though.
Yeah, but they had what was the name of that? What is it called?
Some kind of deboned chicken processed
separated chicken meal or something like that. It was something nasty, and I'm just like, ugh, that's so gross. You know, like, and it doesn't have to be that gross, but to me, it's more about the chemical stuff. Like Leslie says, if you have the choice between this loaf of bread and this loaf of bread, and this loaf of bread has less ingredients in it and less, like even less lines.
And no corn syrup. I will say that.
Yeah, we don't eat.
So Doc said his late wife became mostly vegetarian after her diagnosis. So it's a bit of a connection to her and what she thought would help us both be healthier. Yeah. So you said it. I didn't say it. I do think it's a healthier way to eat. I do think it's how our bodies were designed to eat. And I'll just leave it at that.
And hey, if I can have like more of this because I eat less
it's
bacon.
All about balance.
Yeah.
So Jason said we answered his question, but he was asking, do we stay completely away from animal products, eggs, milk, and such? Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
the technical word is vegan. That means no animal products. But a lot of vegans are very fundamental and very specific about the environment that they live in as well. I think that is a show because you can't know where everything comes from. And do you have anything glued down in your house? Do you have leather seats in your car? Like you just can't be that specific. So we just try to. No, you can't. There is no way that anyone living in this world goes all day without being exposed to something that was from an animal.
That's true.
There is no way. So I think that's ridiculous.
And I like my cowboy boots, dang it.
Yeah. So we don't eat our shoes.
I'm not going to eat my cowboy boots.
We just control what we put in our body. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Bryant says the further south you get, the better food you get. I would agree with that. but there are also lots of options out there. Toronto has great options if you get up north. Have you ever shopped for food at Piggly Wiggly? No. Except at Edisto Beach. I take that back.
I want to go to Toronto so bad. Once it gets easier to get in and out of Canada because of the COVID stuff, I really want to go to Canada.
Jeffrey Egan asked if we ate at Mustard Seed. There's one in Akron. Check them out. I've not seen that one. I will look at it. There's a chain we found staying somewhere else that is present here too, Aladdin.
Mustard
it's
Seed.
Lebanese Mediterranean food, and it was really delicious. But we are not the healthiest people ever. And some places where it is like light fare, and we're hungry when we leave, so I need a little heartier food.
I got it. In Akron.
Please come to Maine, says Uncle Joe. Maine is on our list. It will not happen in the winter.
No.
And I venture to say it won't happen next year because of our plans, so I don't know.
Yeah, next year's already filling up. Holy smokes.
Mr. Goat said Cornell, Weiland, and Staley hit me hard. Cobain was shocking, but I wasn't in love with him at the time of his passing.
Wayland and Staley, that's interesting because a lot of people.
Weiland, whatever. I'm saying it wrong.
Scott Weiland, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I knew who you meant.
Scott Weiland. And yeah, I wasn't as connected with. I remember when Lane Staley died.
Those are all great examples, though. Those are unique voices, which I love. Mm-hmm. All of them. If any of those voices come on, I would know who they were immediately.
And who else died right around the time Lane Staley died? We just talked about it the
Mother
other day.
Love Bone guy?
No. The Blind Melon guy.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember.
I only knew like one Blind Melon song. That was the popular one.
Yeah.
Wasn't really into them.
Right.
But No Rain is a great song.
It is.
Cool. Well, this has been fun so far.
Heck yeah.
Oh, here we go. Les Pauls are not vegan. Yeah, probably not.
Oh, we got a super chat.
Where? I can't see. Oh, here we go. All right. Mr. Goat, thank you for the super chat.
He says, glad you have this channel since half my questions are probably for this one.
Hey, welcome.
Dude, that is exactly why I wanted to do this. Because
Shannon Hoon. I guess I did know that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Shannon Hoon. So that's the thing. We started to get a bunch of, like, even on Patreon, like a bunch of, like, what kind of gas mileage does your motorhome get? Like, very, like, curiosity questions even. You know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, we have to have a place for that, man. Because this is so fun.
Yeah.
There are days that are not. We probably should share some of those too. There are days that are not. We had a water filter mishap a couple weeks ago. The water filter housing blew off and water went everywhere outside. It was outside, but still, you know, you have these days, man. Like, and there's this spot that we're on right now is like 5 inches low in the right front corner, so I can't get it level here, which is so.
But it hasn't rained, so that's good because now we found out it does matter if you're not level when it rains because then it leaks.
Because the water will run. What happens is the water runs off the roof in a different spot, and it'll run on the top of the slides and then come down inside. So it has to be level for that. Yeah, there's little goofy things like that, and that's what I'm kind of hoping to share more on this channel.
Yeah. Randomly. So Charles said, if it's in the center of the store, it's not that good for you. Real food rots. Processed food is not real. Totally agree. Except we really love chips. Just saying.
Oh, man.
Doug, there is consensus that animal proteins are the cause of many immunity issues. I am part of that belief as well. Non-existent human says, I find it strange that vegans or vegetarians make stuff that looks or tastes like meat. I wish the community would try to make dishes that are new and different from what's been made before.
That's what I do.
I really agree with that. I don't miss meat.
Yeah.
Did it die? Oh, you never
No, I
turned it
never
on.
turned it on.
I don't miss meat, so I'm not looking for a substitute. But I just think the audiences are different. If you bring up an Impossible Whopper, easy to obtain, people seem to love Burger King. Um, People I would have never thought would try an alternative meat plant-based hamburger have all tried it. They're like, "Oh yeah, I tried it," because they could, and then they weren't put off by it anymore. So I think, and then there's the people who are really conscious of the environment and want to eat less animal products because of that, um, which I can appreciate those reasons also. So if you really love hamburgers and you want a hamburger, but you don't want to contribute to animal cruelty and environmental problems, there are options for that too. So I just think the audiences are different.
And I
But there
look at
are
it.
really good places that are making really good food that you're like, what is happening in my mouth right now?
Yeah, I look at it as for like Doug was saying, he's trying to transition from
Yeah.
that to that, and it's a way to help you transition out
Mm-hmm.
of eating meat. Like to be honest with you, I've lost the taste for it, so I don't need it anymore. But it's been since 2005. Like in 2005, I would have told you, yes, I really would like a fake hamburger right now. But back in 2005, they didn't make them, so I didn't have them. But now I don't care about it as much because it's been so long, because my tastes have changed. And what's really cool about it is, like she says, there are. I had a cold taco the other day at this place.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why is it cold? And I'm like, well, I guess there's no meat in here, so nothing needs to be hot. So your brain is like telling you that this taco has to be hot. In actuality, if taco's not doesn't have any meat in it, it's a salad in a shell. Like, and you're like, oh, well, I guess it's okay that it's cold. Like, and then you're like, wait a minute, this thing tastes amazing because of all these
Forgot
flavors
about
that
the
are going
taco
on.
place.
Yeah, the
I
taco
kind of want
place
to
was.
go there again
I
too.
know, me too. We need to stay here more.
Ah,
But that's the thing. Like, all of those things you don't think about because you're in this mindset of like, this is what your meal should be.
yeah.
Because we've just been trained this is what our meal should be. In actuality, you can kind of eat whatever you want when it's
Yeah.
good. Good for you.
Fat philosopher said in the 19th century, people ate beef less than once a week. Yeah. So I
Because it was a
think
cost thing.
this has been, it's definitely, I mean, other countries don't eat this much meat either. I
No.
definitely think it's more of an Americanized, they don't call it the SAD diet, the standard American diet, for no reason. But also, we had a friend who um, went through kind of a diet revamp because of a breast cancer diagnosis. And when you realize serving size and maybe what is more appropriate to eat, and then, like in her case, she chose to bank it up. So she was really only eating meat about once a week, but she didn't want to like tease herself with this super small portion maybe daily. So she like banked it up and she was eating meat about once a week, to kind of satisfy that craving, and but definitely had improved health because of a change and shift there.
Fat philosopher. I'm drinking a Japanese single malt tonight. I think it's Harazako. He's from Japan. For those of you that don't know.
So Jeffrey McRickard, I'm curious about the Epiphone. I got on late, wanted to stay live. I'll watch the first hour later. Somebody else said, oh, Fat Philosopher missed the first live stream. Sorry, the Epiphone sucks so bad. So the process sucked.
Oh,
It is a really great guitar.
yeah, the guitar's awesome.
Yeah.
It's oh my gosh, putting it together. Yeah, go back and watch it. Putting it together was insane.
Jason Albert said, now you can do videos of car museums on this channel. Exactly.
That's exactly what
We
I'm
have
talking
a lot
about.
of interest.
Did you know that if you became a member at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for like an extra $15, then you get like all this extra access to like bajillions of museums.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we want to do, and there is a Instagram too. It's Dylan and Leslie M. because Dylan and Leslie was already taken. So Dylan and Leslie M on Instagram. We're trying to share too, like some of the more random weird stuff. Like we went and saw Johnny Appleseed's grave last week. Like, you know, you're driving around and you see these brown signs for stuff.
Yeah. So we've been horrible. So maybe we're not into it. And we just ignore it. But
That doesn't
you
mean
take
nobody
for
is.
granted that a lot of people don't travel and they don't discover these things. And maybe they do travel, but they don't travel as randomly as we do.
Or you don't have time to stop.
So we just decided, like, maybe we should do these random things. And it was actually really cool. Like, I mean, and we laughed more than anything because we were like, this is so ridiculous. We have to do this more often. I don't know that we've looked for that since, but
yeah, we did.
Did
because we went to Kent State.
Oh, yeah.
Which was another, like, moment because, you know, you hear Neil Young, Ohio, and you read the story about Kent State and the 4 people that got shot there, and you literally drive there, and it's just a parking lot because they got shot in a parking lot, and they literally have barriers around the parking spaces where the kids fell, where they actually were shot and they actually died. So there's like one of the roads is closed because the kid died in the middle of the road, and they put barriers up around, like a monument around where his body fell. So you could stand there, and I took pictures the best I could. It's on our Instagram, or maybe it's on Facebook. I put it on Facebook because I should put it on Instagram. I was worried that it was going to get taken down because I put the pictures that were on, you know, back then of like the girl that's like crying because and there's a body laying there, and then I took a picture from the same spot, you know, only this many years later. And that was it was crazy. It gave me like chills to just be in that parking lot, like where the thing actually happened. So yeah, it's not a cool museum. Yeah, but there's all this stuff around us all the time that everybody drives by, and I'm trying to not drive by it. Like we're just trying to stop, take photos, even if it's only just for Instagram. Like it might not make it into a YouTube video because it's just a quick stop and a quick photo, but I still want to do it, you know.
James Pava says, first time jumping in, I have to ask, how do you both feel about aquatic based food such as fish and shellfish? We don't eat it. I have to sneeze. Maybe not. We don't eat it.
I actually tried to go back to it.
I think there are some major benefits to good fatty fish because you need omega-3 and omega-6, and it's really good for inflammation, and the key to health is keeping down inflammation. But we just couldn't do it.
Yeah, we tried to go back to fish actually, and I couldn't do it either. So for that, some of that stuff you have to take supplements. Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is, you know.
Or eat other good fats like nuts and
avocados. Eat a lot of guacamole.
Jeffrey McCrickard said, I'd be down for vegetarian. I'm not sure where eggs fall in there. We have about 18 chickens. So if you're a vegetarian, typically they do eat eggs. There is something even called an ovo-vegetarian, which means they eat eggs. So there are just different flavors of any type of eating. Like, I don't think you have to put yourself in a category or eat the way someone else eats. And if you have your own chickens, I mean, obviously those are probably free range, healthy chickens. You know what they're eating, so I think that's great.
Control over your ingredients is probably, again, control over your ingredients is most important. It just so happens that my ingredients don't include animal products at this time.
Mr. Goat said, short story long, my thyroid died 7 years ago, and now I have IBS, so I'm trying to wean off meat, but dag nabbit, it's delicious. Dag nabbit needs to be used more often.
You know what's funny to me about that is I could care less about actually eating it. But every once in a while the smell still gets to me.
Yeah, barbecue
Yeah,
smells
you drive by a
delicious.
proper southern barbecue pit,
Mm-hmm.
and man, if that doesn't make me want to eat some pork.
Yeah.
But I tried it once, and it made me so sick because it was like
Because it's
10.
not good with moderation.
No, I had. This was when I still lived in Michigan. Actually, this is before I met you. I hadn't eaten meat for a long time, years. One of my buddies was from Alabama, and his mom sent up, like, overnighted a bunch of pulled pork barbecue.
Yeah.
And she had them on these little sliders, and so I ate like a half of a half. So it was like literally like 2 bites. It made me so sick, man.
That's funny.
Like my body has so much changed that but the smell, I was just like, oh, I could totally kill some barbecue because I love that smell. And we're from Atlanta or from Augusta, Georgia, and South Carolina's got good barbecue. You can drive down the road 20 miles and just smell it coming out of places, and it's good.
Fat Philosopher said, have you been to Hendrix's grave? I don't know where that is.
I don't know where that is.
And then he said, a guy posted on YouTube his trip to John Bonham's grave, and there were drumsticks everywhere.
We need to probably look at some of this stuff.
Doug said he knew Mary Vecchio personally, and that's the girl in the famous picture.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yes, it is.
That's wild.
So, Doug, you and I both know somebody. Tom Donadio.
Oh, yeah. His brother.
Doug and I both know Tom Donadio. And his brother, so Tom Donadio's from there and went to school there. And his brother was there when it happened. That's the closest connection I had to it until now.
But now Doug has 2 connections.
Yeah, Hendrix's grave is in Washington State, which I knew because he's from more or less Seattle. So
we don't have any plans to go to Washington State anytime soon.
Yep.
That's a long way.
Yep. What else?
That's it. I think we're all caught up.
Okay.
Anyway, this has been fun. I really appreciate y'all being interactive and being part of the conversation. Great.
Well, John Bonham's grave's in England, so it'd be hard to drive the motorhome over there. I don't know. I even had to Google that. But I was thinking.
Well, sometimes when your brain's in another space.
Yep.
Yeah, and if any of you having trouble wanting to eat different, like, we can help.
I mean, yeah, and actually, if you want specific, because you have
can see Hendrix and Bruce Lee's grave in Seattle.
You have no idea how many times people have told me to start a cooking channel. Because I love to cook. I just don't do it enough. And I don't want to start a cooking channel, but that is something we could do on here is cook and shoot some stuff.
So everybody say yes, so he'll cook.
Well, and tell me what you want to see, because oops, sorry about the microphone. Tell me what you want to see, because I would definitely cook and shoot and cook. Faux show.
Yeah, once you purge something out of your diet, it's hard to introduce it back into. Can't walk into a Burger King. Yeah, I never liked Burger King. So even the flame broiled.
That stinks up the whole neighborhood.
I hate that smell.
You know what gets me? Starbucks. I walk into Starbucks. I don't smell coffee. I smell sour milk.
Yeah. But about the purging something out of your diet, it's not just even psychological. It literally, your body can change. So I think that's why I can't eat meat now. It's because I did not eat meat during some developmental teenage years, and I don't have the enzymes to digest. So I just don't.
Jason Albert says he can show us the world's largest ketchup bottle.
What? That sounds fun.
I'd like to see that.
We went to a mustard museum, so why not a ketchup bottle?
Yeah, we did go to the mustard museum. Where was that? Where was that? Madison. Was it Madison, Wisconsin? I think it was. I think it was Madison, Wisconsin. Because it was where that really good guitar store was, too.
Get you an apron instead of a lab coat. Yeah.
Hey, man. I'm down.
Yes, let's see some cooking. Shoot it and cook it. Recipes are a great idea. I watch mostly cooking shows anyhow. So let's do it, is what Doc says.
All right.
Or cook while shooting it. Yeah, you know he's going to video. Like, that's what he likes to do.
Yeah.
It's not going to turn into the worst site ever where you, like, want to look at a recipe and you have to read about their great grandma or something. I hate that. Get to the point.
Just tell me what's in this.
Yes. Show me the ingredient. Most of the time I don't even read like the steps. I just want to see the ingredients. Like, where's the ingredient list?
Well, I guess we'll start with breakfast because that's probably the number one question.
Probably a breakfast video on this channel already.
Oh, probably is, but yeah.
I have to start somewhere, I guess.
Yep. Awesome. You guys, this has been super fun.
Can we be super nichey? Like, cooking in RV's got to be a thing, right? Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, really? Like, we have a real stove and a real convection oven.
Yeah, but
real
people
pans.
think you have to have a whole kitchen. And, like, we have a pan and a pot and a bigger pot.
That's it. Yep. I have proper knives because I have to have my proper knives. And we have a Vitamix and we have a... Yeah, because I've been thinking about doing a coffee video.
Somebody said, do we see the submarine video in Wisconsin? We did not go on a submarine. That sounds like very COVID-y small spaces. And we've done a submarine in Charleston before.
We did a submarine in Charleston.
A long time ago.
The submarine in Wisconsin is very cool, though. I actually just watched a video about that the other day. And I kind of wish I would have while we were there. Because the history of it is pretty cool. We did see...
there's an ore boat here.
There's an ore boat here, the Cleveland Cliffs, whatever, yeah. And then on my Instagram, I think, and if it's not there, I'll put it up, that we took a picture of a tugboat in Kewaunee, Wisconsin, in Door County, Wisconsin.
It's not Door County, but yeah.
That was, yeah, it was Kewaunee County. That was used in the D-Day invasion or the Battle of one of those. I think so. In Europe. And then they took it all the way over here when it was done. So that was pretty cool. I like historical stuff like that. And obviously aeronautic history. One of the things we have not done and I want to figure out how to do is go to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I don't know if we're going to... It's a couple hours from here. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it this time or not. But anyway.
Where did it go? Oh, I read a story. Dennis said, I read a story recently that some ethnicities are born lactose intolerant. Yeah, I think that is all people that aren't cows. Just saying. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. People that aren't cows are born lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doc said new name for the show, one pan and some proper knives.
That's it, man. I gotta have proper knives.
There's a flea market in Hartville. There's a Kershaw booth there, or at least there used to be, says Jeffrey.
Oh, cool.
How about the DUKW? What's that ride in Wisconsin?
Oh, the duck. Oh, so Wisconsin Dells was really stupid because we wanted to see the river, but they have it so locked down that you have to pay to see the river. And he's talking about the duck boats.
Oh.
And we were gonna go. My parents actually met us there. I hadn't seen them in a while, and my parents...
Like in a week?
Oh no, we had see. That's right. My parents live in California, but then they'll just like pop up in some random place and you'll see them. Anyway, they were there and we're like, let's go do this. But it was really a lot of people, and I'm not paranoid overly about the whole COVID thing these days, but we are still cautious about it. Like, I'm not gonna go put myself in a, like she said, we're not gonna go tour a submarine with like a whole bunch of, you know what I mean? We're gonna be relatively cautious about it. I'm not gonna be like super paranoid, but at the same time, I'm like, eh. And my parents were, of course, they're older. They're in their my dad's in his 70s, and he was feeling a little, they didn't really want to do it. So I was like, okay, well, we won't. So we ended up not doing it. But, yeah. So.
Dave said, my ex's dad's plane he flew in Korea. Is that right, Patterson?
Oh, wow.
The OCC chopper was in the gift shop last time I was there. That was pretty cool to see. I'm not sure where we crossed over. Charles said that. Fat Philosopher said the Japanese have a lactose-free drink called, and then he spelled it, and then he said it's pronounced cow piss. That sounds like it's probably not ironic.
That's probably awesome. Yep.
Anyway, that's so cool.
Cool.
Anyway, this has been fun.
Yep. I guess we'll let everybody.
1 year anniversary of having COVID. Mr. Goat had COVID.
Ah.
I hope you don't have any long-lasting symptoms. That seems to be the kicker for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to be smart about it. The other thing too, I'm just gonna and since it's at the end, only people that pay attention and are my friends will get this. But like for example, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame video, we're wearing masks because they made us. And what I'll say about that is, I think they're dumb. It drives me insane. I hate wearing them. And people will go and get all political about it, but my brain says I wanted to go in there so I could either sit out here on the curb and whine about it, or I could just put it on and go in there and have some fun. So that's what I decided to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a political thing for me. It's just but I want to mention that because you'll see that from time to time in our videos, and people will inevitably say something about it. I just don't care. I'm just like,
Mr. Guy said, I'm just going to say it.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
There's a t-shirt on the Dylan Talks Tone channel now that says that. I mean, really, like.
And I'm inherently a rule follower, so.
Yeah. If they
there's
say.
a rule in there, like.
If I want to go there, and people will be like, yeah, but freedom. I'm like, well, you can sit out here on the curb and think about your freedom. I'm going to freely go in here and put this mask on and have all this fun while you sit out here and worry about that. I just, and
have we chosen, similar to what we just talked about, we have chosen to not do things because not worth the risk and or requirements.
Yeah.
So we have the freedom to choose that too, but I would not fault anybody for whatever decision they made.
Yeah, and if you want to do something different or feel differently about it, that's totally fine. I don't, it doesn't bother
Fat Philosopher said in Japan, we've been wearing masks for decades. We don't make a big deal out of it. I think that all the time.
Me too.
We've been watching
various
Asian cultures. They've always traveled, especially with masks on, and then you have to breathe in some of those big cities. Like, if you can't breathe there, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
You'll find that about us with all this stuff is because I actually had to shut down a thread and I deleted it on my YouTube feed. About Indigenous Peoples Day the other day. I actually had to delete it because people were getting so angry. And I'm like, well, we don't talk about politics on this channel. I just like people. And I want to meet as many people as possible. And I want to know as many people as possible. Just like we talked about guitars earlier. Like, I just want to try as many things. Mm-hmm. And whatever I have to do to have as many experiences as possible That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And if I have to wear a mask to have an experience today, I will do it. Because, you know.
Jeffrey McRickard's comment says, I'm going to be non-opinionated about opinions. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean.
And Doc says he'd been wearing a mask all day, every day for 25 years. So it's no big deal for him.
Yeah, and I'm glad dentists wear friggin' masks because half of them have breath so bad you can't even handle it. You're sitting there, you're like,
why would a dentist have bad breath?
I have had them. He probably doesn't because he's awesome.
What do you mean that bad? How much would a dentist be in your mouth?
They're like totally over you, and your whole face is all like pried
Whatever.
open.
The dentist is there for like 2 seconds. The hygienist
It's
does
the hygienist, I guess, that has the problem. And she's a hygienist.
Yeah, that still doesn't.
It doesn't even make sense. But I have had it a lot of times.
Maybe they need some halitosis treatment.
I don't know, Doc. What's the cure for
Tongue
that?
cleaners. Clean your tongue.
Yeah. Anyway.
Indigenous People Day was a double-edged sword for sure. I was thankful for a day off, and I'm glad I don't have to call it Columbus Day.
Well, and that was the other thing, is people were getting super bent about me saying anything about it. And I'm like, you guys, I'm Native American.
Yeah.
Like, I am. So, I'm grateful that people are starting to learn about things that are still happening. It is not history. It is happening right now. And it would be awesome if more people learned about it. And I'm glad that that day is called that. And hopefully more people will learn about it. That's all. Like, again, more experiences, learn more stuff, gain more experience. Like, that's where my brain goes back to. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Vinny's World said, what you guys doing is so amazing. The way you guys live, travel, and do the things you like completely blows my mind.
Yeah. Thanks,
That's
man.
why we should share it more. Because maybe we take it for granted.
Well, and sometimes some of the difficulties and the little everyday things that you have to do every day, making reservations is a pain.
I mean, when it's life, you tend to think you're very boring.
Yeah.
And we are fairly boring.
Well, that's true. We have a routine, and we have a schedule, and we have a thing. But the thing is we're the only people on the planet that have this schedule and routine that we have.
I doubt that very seriously.
Who gets up on Monday, shoots a video while you work, gets up on Tuesday?
I'm sure there's tons of YouTubers that are working too, and there's a whole community of RV entrepreneurs and remote
That's
workers.
Probably true. So I guess you're right.
That is a very
But nobody
big
has
statement.
the schedule that we have. I mean, I think everything, even
nobody has the same schedule if you look at it that way.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody is unique in a certain way, and I think that we take that for granted sometimes.
That people are going to think we're weird.
I hope they think we're weird.
Do y'all think we're weird?
Weird stuff gets more clicks. Maybe I should say something. Maybe I should say something angry
After
about
I show you the ketchup bottle, I would love to show you the Cahokia Mounds. It's an ancient Native American burial ground.
Heck
Where are we going, Jason? When are we seeing Jason?
Where is Jason?
I don't know.
So I have a whole thing.
We didn't get to do a lot of that because the reservations were closed for COVID. Very understandably, they probably still are. But we definitely have an interest in similar to what we were just talking about with Kent State. Why do we do this? Why were we getting off a long time ago and now we're still talking?
Collinsville, Illinois.
Illinois? That's the wrong way.
No, I'm telling you where these are.
Does that mean that's where Jason is?
I think he's in Indiana somewhere. We're not in Illinois anymore. That's the thing I wanted to go see.
Why didn't we go there? Or is that the one in the state park?
No. That's the thing I wanted to go see. It's 2 stories high, and it used to be a huge, huge city.
It's close to St. Louis.
Yes.
This is great. Super chat from Mr. Goat.
This is
weirdos.
This is the thing. This is exactly the thing I wanted to go see. It's over by St. Louis, right?
Yeah, and he yeah, he did tell me all about this. He
Yes.
learned about it like on YouTube or something and wanted to go.
Yes.
That is not.
It's not on our way right now.
I mean, not on our way right now, but can it be? How?
Yeah.
That's not a very southern route to go through Missouri.
Well, the way you would go to Oklahoma.
But we're not going.
But what I'm saying is, if we want to go out west and go the northern way from Georgia,
okay,
we would
will
go
not.
up through St. Louis and then we would go.
So
across.
maybe after, maybe we can go in
on
the
our way
summer
back.
because I'm not going the northern route in March and April.
No, so we have to go to Texas Toast Guitars in Denver, Colorado for the whole month of May. And so we're trying to figure out how to get out there and how we're going to come back and planning our route for that. So,
we never got super chats on this channel before. I'm like really excited.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
So that was from Jeffrey McRickard. He said, "I'll say goodbye whenever you leave." Yeah, I don't. We like drag out these goodbyes. I mean, we do this in real life too, so I guess this is just real.
It's normal.
And we are this random, and we're like, wait, I need to talk about this.
Well, they keep giving us interesting things to talk about and look up.
Yeah.
I want to go see that Mounds thing because it's huge, right?
Yeah. So maybe, like Jason, like in June.
Yeah.
July.
June or July. Yep. Cool. We really should go.
We should. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I had a crazy day today.
He
said, "Don't go."
Yeah. Leslie had to take a test.
I did.
Like a proctored.
It's a southern thing. It probably is a southern thing. We just keep saying goodbye. I would hug you if you were here.
Yeah. Bless her heart.
Aw, that's not nice. Anyway, yeah, I took a test. I haven't taken a test in years.
No.
And it was super weird.
She's trying to get letters after her name.
I am.
Yep. So hopefully it works.
When y'all go to Colorado, drop down to AZ.
Jeff, I'm trying to figure that out. So for those of you that don't know, I lived in Flagstaff, Arizona for a really long time. And Jeff is an hour from there. And
Standing on the corner.
Yep. I actually used to know, or do know, know his wife when she was wee. And
wee?
Yeah, like little.
How old did you just make yourself?
She was not little, but she was very young. And anyways, because he's younger than me. And yeah, so I knew his family, some of his family. So anyways, I want to go to Arizona super bad, but the problem is it's not on the way to anything that we have to do currently, and it's always on fire.
Yeah.
So it's either too snowy or on fire. That's like the two problems.
Maybe you and Amy need to come to Denver in May.
That's right. Exactly.
You can take a trip. All right.
We'll let everybody go. Thanks for hanging out. This has been super fun. I know it's a lot of people from the other channel, but I really appreciate you all coming over and spending this extra time not talking about guitars.
Yeah. And the fact that you can put up with this for
and get in the comments and let us know what kind of content you want to see on this channel, because you know kind of what we're into. For those of you that are
apparently we're pretty predictable.
Yeah, exactly. Food.
Yeah, I need to share a link so y'all can check out my Yelp for all of you wanting to adventure into plant-based food.
All right, we'll see y'all.